You've tuned in to the unavailing frequency. But don't touch that dial. We've got you right where we want you.
This is the Bloodline Archive, Part 1, The Ledger. I need to write this down while I still trust my own hands. My name doesn't matter. What matters is what I found in my grandfather's toolbox 3 weeks ago, wedged between a false bottom under a layer of rusted socket wrenches, and what has happened to me since. I'm writing this in a motel room outside of Barstow, with the curtains taped shut, a kitchen knife on the nightstand, and I don't know if I'll be alive to finish it. So I'm going to write fast, and I'm going to write everything, because if something happens to me, I need someone, anyone, to understand what my family has been carrying since before there were families at all. My grandfather, Elias Voss, died in March. Heart failure, the doctor said, though he was healthy as a horse the week before, and they told my mother on the phone that they were getting closer, without explaining who they were. She assumed it was dementia. I assumed that too, right up until I found the toolbox. The false bottom wasn't hidden well. It was hidden deliberately findable, like you wanted someone to eventually pry it up, but not too soon. Inside was a leather ledger, cracked with soft age, filled with handwriting that changed every few pages. Different ink, different decades, different men. I would come to realize going back further than any genealogical website could verify. The ledger's first legible date, dated 1789, was written in a spidery formal hand. We are the 12th line. We keep what was kept before writing existed to keep it. The others do not remember. We must remember for them. When the gate breathes, we count the names. I laughed out loud when I read that. It sounded like the kind of thing a lonely, superstitious frontiersman might scrawl to make his miserable life feel like it mattered. I set the book down, made coffee, went about my day. I had a mortgage payment due and a dead grandfather's estate to settle. I didn't have time for ghost stories. But then I found the photographs. They were tucked into the ledger spine, brittle at the edges, the kind of photograph paper that hadn't been manufactured in over a century. Family portraits, generation after generation, everyone stiff and then smiling in the way old photography demanded. I recognized my grandfather immediately in one. A young man, maybe 20, standing beside a woman I didn't recognize. The photograph was dated in pencil on the back, 1911. My grandfather was born in 1938. I told myself it was a different man. It had to be. A great uncle, a resemblance, nothing more. Families repeat their faces. Genetics are a shadow of other generations, a shallow well it draws from, the same water again and again. I told myself this while I drove to the county records office the next morning. And I told myself this while the clerk, a bored woman named Pam, pulled up microfiche of birth and death records going back to the 1870s for anyone with the surname Voss in our county. There were 14 of them. 14 men, one every generation, born roughly 30 years apart, all with variations of the same exact first name. Elias, Elian, Eli, Ellis. All of them, according to the death records Pam printed for me with her acrylic nails clacking against the keyboard, dying almost at exactly the same age, 61. Every single one of them. 61 years old, give or take a few months. My grandfather died at 61. And I want to be clear about something here, because I think it matters for whoever reads this. I'm not a superstitious man. I studied engineering. I believe in load-bearing walls and closed-form solutions and things you can verify with your hands. So when I say that something in me went cold and small, standing in that records office, I need you to understand it wasn't a feeling I invited. It arrived in me like weather. I went back to the ledger that night and read from it, front to back, all 400 some odd pages of it in one sitting, 3 pots of coffee, and every light in my apartment on. And here's what I can tell you. Stripped of the parts that will make you think I've lost my mind, though I promise you I haven't, or if I have, I lost it for good reason. But the ledger describes something called the original debt. It claims, and I want to stress the word claims, because for the first 24 hours after reading it, I refused to believe a word, that somewhere in the deep unrecorded past, before cuneiform, before the first cities, a bargain was struck. Not with a god. The ledger is oddly specific about this, almost defensive, like it's correcting an assumption the reader is expected to make, not a god. Something that came before the idea of gods was useful to us. Something that doesn't want worship. It wants an accounting. The bargain, as far as I can parse the older entries, was this. 12 bloodlines would carry the memory of what happened at the beginning. The actual beginning, whatever that means, so that the rest of humanity could be permitted to forget. Not forget in the sense of failing to remember, but forget in the sense of never having known it at all, the way a child is protected from a fact that's too large for them. 12 families, 12 ledgers, 12 men in every generation, each living exactly one measured span, each passing the accounting to a son before the span ran out, forever, so the debt never came due for anyone else. I didn't sleep that night. I sat with the ledger open on my kitchen table and I did the arithmetic and it worked. Every generation, 61 years going back, as far as the ledger's internal claims went, which I couldn't verify and still can't. Nearly 6,000 years, entry folding into entry, hand into hand, ink into ink, an unbroken chain of men writing the same warning to the next man in line. And I am the next man in line. I don't have a son. I want you to sit with that in the way that I had to sit with it alone at 4 a.m. with my coffee going cold and my hand shaking around the cup. 14 generations of men who understood their job, who found a wife and had a boy and taught him the accounting before their 61st birthday ran out. My grandfather had my mother, an only child, a daughter, and the line should have ended there. It should have ended there whenever the actuarial math ran out, or suggested it should have been broken. Except it didn't. My mother had me. And as far as I can tell from 3 nights of frantic research and 1 visit to a genetics counselor, I lied to about it for reasons for why I was asking. There's nothing in our biology that explains why my grandfather's affliction or gift or curse or whatever it actually is would have any claim on me at all. I am not by blood a Voss man in the line the ledger describes. I'm the son of a Voss daughter, which means if any of this is real, I was never supposed to inherit this. Someone gave it to me anyway. The last entry in the ledger is in my grandfather's handwriting, and unlike every entry before it, it isn't dated. It reads, "I broke it in giving it to you. Forgive me. I couldn't let it end, and I couldn't let it fall to a stranger. You were the only blood I had left with the stomach for what's coming. They will notice the substitution. They always notice substitutions. Do not go looking for the others. If they find you first, that will be a mercy. Count the names, keep the accounting, and whatever you do, do not open the second drawer of my desk before the first frost." I have the desk. It's sitting in my apartment right now, shipped from my grandfather's house along with the rest of the estate 3 days after I read that final entry. And I have not opened the second drawer because it is July, and because 2 nights ago at 2 a.m. someone knocked on my apartment door 4 times, evenly spaced, and when I looked through the peephole, there was no one there, only resting against the door frame at exactly eye level, a photograph. New, glossy, modern paper. It was a picture of me, taken from across the street, sleeping in the window seat of the very apartment I was standing in when I found it. I don't own a photograph of myself sleeping. No one does. They shouldn't. You can't take pictures of yourself. I packed a bag that night and I've been moving every 2 days since, and the ledger and the unopened desk are both in the trunk of my car outside this motel room. And I'm starting to understand, or starting to not fully, why my grandfather chose me instead of finding a way to have a son of his own line. And it has something to do with the words stomach for what's coming. And I think I'm about to find out exactly what that means. Because tonight, for the third time in a row, I've heard something counting outside my window. And it isn't counting in English. It's getting to 11.